Perfect. We are out on the interwebs, and I'll let everybody in here on Zoom and we'll get rolling. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another riveting hour of Piano Tech Radio. Great to have you here. Love to see, as always, some of those familiar faces, some of those new faces. Carl, glad we got you on there. I think you had trouble with the link, but you're here, so that's great. And we got a few more people rolling in, so we'll let that happen. Let some folks join, and then we'll get rolling here for today. Hello to everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube. Glad to have you here. Hey, Patrick Drain, how's it going? Good to have you on. All right, more people. Bob Highfield's coming in twice. That's awesome. He's got 2 devices. All right. Well, we still got folks rolling in, but in the interest of keeping good timing, maybe let's get started. I do see there's a hand up on maybe on accident, but from one of Piano Works LLC. How you doing there? Piano Works LLC. Did you have anything you needed to check in on, or was that an accident? Okay, I'm just gonna assume it's not a big deal. Okay, so let me highlight myself here. Let's see, and I will highlight today's wonderful guest. And then I'll give us an intro and we shall get rolling. A couple other people, want to let them in real quick. Awesome. Okay, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. We gather here every Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the piano world, including manufacturers, rebuilders, musicians, makers of other instruments even, and of course, piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft, helping each other, and to create a ever more musical world together. Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to us by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. And today's session features Alice Alviani. And before I let her in, before I intro her, I'll let a few other people in that are waiting. So Alice Alviani, she can tell us a little bit more about herself in a few minutes, but she has been a piano technician for 25 plus years, has worked on all kinds of pianos, and she especially loves working to promote the music community and, as she likes to say from time to time, save every piano puppy, which I like that. She founded and manages Family Piano Co., a company that not only gives tuning services, but also offers piano rentals, music lessons, and piano sales. Hey, Alice, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. It's really great to have you here.
Well, thank you. Actually, I have to correct that we no longer have music lessons or concerts every week. COVID kind of killed those 2 programs. But I've got various showrooms full of pianos. My shop's on the edge of the first showroom. There's whole lots of pianos here.
Oh, wow.
And we do a fair amount of volume. So around here we see just about everything eventually. And thank you for your kind words.
Yeah.
And it's not that people sometimes say, well, you love spinets. No, I don't love working on spinets, but I love my customers. And there are times when a spinet kind of falls into almost everybody's lap. And there's been a lot of ignorance about it. And yes, there are a lot more similarities than differences between a spinet and a small console, using spinet in the terms of strictly a drop action. But people just kind of get wigged out. and the technicians get just real antsy about it. And a lot of things really aren't that hard. Yes, there's some tricks, and it takes more some familiarity rather than serious training. And so I'd just like you to feel a little more comfortable when you end up with this spinet falling in your lap, because you tune for everybody else at this church, and now you've got to tune this one, or you're going to like lose like 100 customers or something, or or it just happens to be, for whatever reason, you've really got to tune your favorite customer's brother-in-law spinet or something like that. There's times that you'll just need to kind of get into it.
I have to say, I grew up with a spinet, and I think that I've always, maybe to a fault, enjoyed a challenge. And so I too, I don't know. There's definitely that spinet or two that I'd rather kick off a cliff, but
well, we all do, and I think that my my little beef, I guess, to get on a soapbox for a minute, is when experienced technicians, upon hearing that it is a spinet, start telling the customers it's untunable, they have to throw it away, etc., without seeing it, without hearing the customer's story of why this is really important. And we'll kind of get into sentimental stuff too, because I definitely believe an awful lot of spinets need to go to piano heaven. That's no doubt. But there are a fair number of them out there for various reasons where, they're low enough mileage that for the most part, maybe there's one or two things that are pretty irritating that are wrong with it, and you can fix that, obviously for an extra charge and such, but it's really not as scary once you do some troubleshooting.
Cool. Well, should we get a little background on you a little bit more, or do you want to just jump in?
Sure.
And I know.
What do you want?
Let's talk. I'm always like I have respect for someone who has like running a whole piano store as well as, doing tuning and all that stuff. You said you had lessons, you sidelined that for whatever reason, but can you just share a little bit before you get started on the spinet, just about that process of deciding to kind of launch that storefront and go into that type of business and just the growth of that and trajectory.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back when I was fairly beginning, and I'd always have teachers asking for some basic starter piano for one of their new students. And then I'd have somebody else who's moving and wants to give one away. And they never seemed to quite line up, so I started bringing them to my house. About this time, some brainiac on the school board rearranged the starting and ending times of all the buildings in our district to keep the bus drivers gainfully employed all day. This meant that I had one child in his seat in homeroom before 7 a.m. and he was out a little after 1:30. And I had others that I didn't even get out of bed till 9:15, and I didn't have them home till 4. So when does mom go to work? Okay, so I started bringing these pianos home, and I never had more than 17 pianos at home at once. But I was doing rent to own for the most part, and but meanwhile, I was taking them all
I just want to
apart
interject here. Where does the 17 pianos go? Did you have a nice big garage or basement? Like, where are they sitting?
7 or 8 of them usually out in the garage, but there'd be one in the dining room and 2 in the living room and 3 in the front hall and 1 at the bottom of the stairs and 1 in the breakfast room, sometimes 2, and so forth. So, but it had me home with my kids after school, which was really, in fact, all the neighborhood kids were usually over. And man, I got an earful of what happened at school. But they'd forget I was there. So anyway.
So you ended up just kind of, it just grew on you. Yeah, you were just, that was your place.
Well, I just, with enough repetition, I just got a real knack for working on little uprights, and they'd go out pretty quick, and I'd be getting X bucks a month on each of them, and it really made things work for those years when I had the kids at home, and I could also work on them in the night too. In 15 years, I didn't miss a class party, a school field trip, or a little league game, or all kinds of things. So it was, it made the time work out for me. But I just got a real good knack for working on these little puppies and finding them new homes, and it was a lot of fun. And I'd find that an awful lot of pianos that were other technicians that just preferred to work on grands or whatever were writing off as dead, and sometimes they were dead. And I very frequently would tell people, when I'd go to tune and I'd find something that was dead, it's like, Grandma's legacy here is the love of music, not the worship of a piece of furniture that's worn out. We need to do something here. I have something similar, but it's got lots of life left in it at home. Let's switch them out, send this one off to Piano Heaven, and to keep Grandma company over there. And we frequently made little plaques at the little at the place that makes the bowling trophies, and they could put
Really?
a little plaque on it saying, this piano is in memory of Grandma Ruby, or whatever. And that kind of took care of some of the sentimental things, because you don't want to fix something that's truly broken. We want to be in the customer's best interest. And sometimes the best interest, and sometimes they'll succeed more on a piano that they just love and have the sentimental attachment to. But, you kind of have to look at the whole situation and sometimes get a little creative.
So you put a plaque on the new piano, like you got them a new piano, and said, hey, we'll put a little plaque on it. You can keep your sentimentality and your memories. And this, that's great.
It can remind you of Grandma Ruby every time you go to your piano.
That's what I call speaking the language of the customer. I think we all can get quite lost being very technically minded, and just little things like that can get people to upgrade.
Sometimes, our customers are human beings that need to feel the love, and they need to feel validated somehow. I've also can liken it to a woman I worked for 40 years ago, who at that time was 60-ish or so. So when her kids were little, so we're talking these kids would be 80 or 90 years old now, had attempted to revive a dead cat they buried the day before with a bicycle pump, and it did not work. And this is back when kids fixed things in a more resourceful manner, but this didn't work. And there are times that spinets are like, or any piano can be like that.